Today on D&D Academia per fan request, we discuss the hunters, trackers, and guides of the world, the Ranger. You can find the basics for the Ranger in the Player's Handbook and optional information in Tasha's Cauldron of Everything. Rough and wild looking, a human stalks alone through the shadows of trees, hunting the orcs he knows are planning a raid on a nearby farm. Clutching a short sword in each hand, he becomes a whirlwind of steel, cutting down one enemy after another. After tumbling away from a cone of freezing air, an elf finds her feet and draws back her bow to loose an arrow at the white dragon. Shrugging off the wave of fear that emanates from the dragon like the cold of its breath, she sends one arrow after another to find the gaps between the dragon's thick scales. Holding his hand high, a half-elf whistles to the hawk that circles high above him, calling the bird back to his side. Whispering instructions in Elvish, he points to the owlbear he's been tracking and sends the hawk to distract the creature while he readies his bow. Far from the bustle of cities and towns, past the hedges that shelter the most distant farms from the terrors of the wild, amid the dense packed trees of trackless forests, and across wide and empty plains, rangers keep their unending watch. Warriors from the wilderness, rangers specialize in hunting the monsters that threaten the edges of civilization. Humanoid raiders, rampaging beasts and monstrosities, terrible giants and deadly dragons. They learn to track their quarry as a predator does, moving stealthily through the wilds and hiding themselves in brush and rubble. Rangers focus their combat training on techniques that are particularly useful against their specific favored foes. Thanks to their familiarity with the wilds, rangers acquire the ability to cast spells that harness nature's power, much as a druid does. Their spells, like their combat abilities, emphasize speed, stealth, and the hunt. A ranger's talents and abilities are honed with deadly focus on the grim task of protecting the borderlands. At first level, rangers get favored enemy. They have a significant experience studying, tracking, hunting, and even talking to a certain type of enemy. Choose a type of favored enemy: aberrations, beasts, celestials, constructs, dragons, elementals, fae, fiends, giants, monstrosities, oozes, plants, or even the undead. Alternatively, you can select two races of humanoids such as gnolls or orcs as your favored enemies. You have advantage on wisdom survival checks to track your favored enemies, as well as on intelligence checks to recall information about them. When you gain this feature, you can also learn one language of your choice that is spoken by your favored enemies, if they speak one at all. You choose one additional favored enemy, as well as an associated language, at 6th and 14th level. As you gain levels, your choices should reflect the types of monsters you have encountered on your adventures. Favored foe is another option you could take at first level instead of favored enemy. When you hit a creature with an attack roll, you can call on your mystical bond with nature to mark the target as your favorite enemy for 1 minute or until you lose concentration, as if you were concentrating on a spell. The first time on each of your turns that you hit the favored enemy and deal damage to it, including when you mark it, you can increase that damage by 1d4. You can use this feature to mark a favored enemy a number of times equal to your proficiency bonus, and you can regain all expended uses when you finish a long rest. This feature's extra damage increases when you reach certain levels in this class, to 1d6 at 6th level and 1d8 at 14th level. This feature works well with the Foe Slayer feature at level 20. Natural Explorer is another one you get at first level. You are particularly familiar with one type of natural environment and are adept at traveling and surviving in such regions. Choose one type of favored terrain: Arctic, coast, desert, forest, grassland, mountain, swamp, or the Underdark. When you make an intelligence or wisdom check related to your favored terrain, your proficiency bonus is doubled if you are using a skill that you're proficient in. While traveling for an hour or more in your favored terrain, you gain the following benefits. Difficult terrain doesn't slow your group's travel. Your group can't become lost except by magical means. Even when you are engaged in another activity while traveling, such as foraging, navigating, or tracking, you remain alert to danger. If you are traveling alone, you can move stealthily at a normal pace. When you forage, you can find twice as much food as you normally would. While tracking other creatures, You'll also learn their exact numbers, their sizes, and how long they've passed through the area. You choose additional favored terrain types at 6th and 10th level. Now, you also have an optional choice of Deft Explorer instead of Natural Explorer at first level. You are an unsurpassed explorer and survivor, both in the wilderness and in dealing with others on your travels. You gain the Canny benefit at first level, and you gain additional benefits when you reach 6th level and 10th level in this class. With Canny, you choose one of your skill proficiencies. Your proficiency bonus is doubled for any ability check you make that uses the chosen skill. You can also speak, read, and write 2 additional languages of your choice. At 2nd level, you adopt a fighting style as your specialty. Choose one of the following options. By the way, you can't take a fighting style option more than once, even if you later get to choose again. You have archery, you gain a +2 bonus to attack rolls you make with ranged weapons. Defense, while you're wearing armor, you gain a +1 bonus to AC. Dueling, when you are wielding a melee weapon in one hand and no other weapons, you gain a +2 bonus to damage rolls with that weapon. Two-weapon fighting, when you engage in two-weapon fighting, you can add your ability modifier to the damage of the second attack. There are also these additional options. Blind fighting, you have a blind sight with a range of 10 feet. Within that range, you can effectively see anything that isn't behind total cover, even if you're blinded or in darkness. Moreover, you can see an invisible creature within that range unless that creature successfully hides from you. Druidic Warrior, you learn 2 cantrips of your choice from the Druid spell list. They count as ranger spells for you, and Wisdom is your spell casting ability for them. Whenever you gain a level in this class, you can replace one of these cantrips with another cantrip from the Druid spell list. Thrown weapon fighting. You can draw a weapon that has the thrown property as part of the attack you make with the weapon. In addition, when you hit with a ranged attack using a thrown weapon, you gain a +2 bonus to the damage roll. At 2nd level, you also get spell casting. You have learned to use this magical essence of nature to cast spells, much as a druid does. Wisdom is your spell casting ability for your ranger spells. Since your magic draws on your attunement to nature, you use your wisdom whenever a spell refers to your spell casting ability. In addition, you use your wisdom modifier when setting the saving throw DC for a ranger spell you cast and when making an attack roll with one. Spell save DC equals 8 plus your proficiency bonus plus your wisdom modifier. Spell attack modifier equals your proficiency bonus plus your wisdom modifier. At 2nd level, you can also get a spell casting focus. You can use a druidic focus as a spell casting focus for your ranger spells. A druidic focus might be a sprig of mistletoe, a wand or rod made of yew or another special wood, a staff drawn whole from a living tree, or an object incorporating feathers, fur, bones, and teeth from sacred animals. Feel free to get creative with this and just make sure your dungeon master is okay with it. At 3rd level, you choose an archetype that you strive to emulate. Your choice grants you features at 3rd level and again at 7th, 11th, and 15th level. Examples are Hunter, Gloomstalker, Beastmaster, and many more. Also beginning at 3rd level, you can choose Primeval Awareness. You can use your action and expend 1 ranger spell slot to focus your awareness on the region around you. For 1 minute per level of the spell slot you expend, you can sense whether the following types of creatures are present within 1 mile of you, or within up to 6 miles if you're in your favored terrain. Aberrations, celestials, dragons, elementals, fae, fiends, and undead. This feature does not, however, reveal the creature's location or number. There's also the option of primal awareness at this level instead of primeval awareness. You can focus your awareness through the interconnections of nature. You learn additional spells when you reach certain levels in this class if you don't already know them, as shown in your primal awareness spell table. These spells don't count against the number of ranger spells you know. You can cast each of those spells once without expending a spell slot. Once you cast a spell in this way, you can't do so again until you finish a long rest. Once you reach 4th level, and again at 8th, 12th, 16th, and 19th level, you can increase 1 ability score of your choice by 2, or you can increase 2 ability scores of your choice by 1. As normal, you can't increase an ability score above 20 using this feature. Using the optional feats rule, you can forego taking this feature to take a feat of your choice instead. Also at 4th level, you can get martial versatility. Whenever you reach a level in this class that grants the ability score improvement feature, you can replace a fighting style you know with another fighting style available to rangers. This replacement represents a shift of focus in your martial practice. At level 5, you get extra attack. You can attack twice instead of once, whenever you take the attack action on your turn. If you chose Deft Explorer at first level, then you get Roving at level 6. Your walking speed increases by 5, you gain a climbing speed and a swimming speed equal to your walking speed. At 8th level, you get Land Stride. Moving through non-magical difficult terrain costs you no extra movement. You can also pass through non-magical plants without being slowed by them and without taking damage from them if they have thorns, spines, or a similar hazard. In addition, you have advantage on saving throws against plants that are magically created or manipulated to impede movement, such those created by the Entangle spell. At 10th level, you get Hide in Plain Sight. You can spend 1 minute creating camouflage for yourself. You must have access to fresh mud, dirt, plants, soot, and other naturally occurring materials with which to create your camouflage. Once you are camouflaged in this way, you can try to hide by pressing yourself up against a solid surface, such as a tree or wall, that is at least as tall and as wide as you are. You gain a plus 10 bonus to dexterity stealth checks as long as you remain there without moving or taking actions. Once you move or take an action or a reaction, you must camouflage yourself again to gain this benefit. Now, instead of hide in plain sight, you can also take Nature's Veil. You draw on the powers of nature to hide yourself from view briefly. As a bonus action, you can magically become invisible along with any equipment you are wearing or carrying until the start of your next turn. You can use this feature a number of times equal to your proficiency bonus, and you can regain all expended uses when you finish a long rest. Now, if you chose Deft Explorer at first level, you gain something here at 10th level, Tireless. As an action, you can give yourself a number of temporary hit points equal to 1d8 plus your Wisdom modifier, minimum of 1 temporary hit point. You can use this action a number of times equal to your proficiency bonus, and you regain all expended uses when you finish a long rest. In addition, whenever you finish a short rest, your exhaustion level, if any, is decreased by 1. At level 14, you get Vanish. You can use the hide action as a bonus action on your turn. Also, you can't be tracked by non-magical means unless you choose to leave a trail. At level 18, you get Feral Senses. You gain preternatural senses that help you fight creatures you can't see. When you attack a creature you can't see, your inability to see it doesn't impose disadvantage on your attack rolls against it. You are also aware of the location of any invisible creature within 30 feet of you, provided that the creature isn't hidden from you and you aren't blinded or deafened. And finally, at level 20, you get Foe Slayer. You become an unparalleled hunter of your enemies. Once on each of your turns, you can add your Wisdom modifier to the attack roll or the damage roll of an attack you make against one of your favored enemies. You can choose to use this feature before or after the roll, but before any effects of the roll are applied. Hopefully now you have a much better understanding of the Ranger class. Perhaps this has piqued your interest enough to try this class out for yourself. This has been D&D Academia's episode all about the Ranger. Please do check out our other Academia videos, and if you would like to see a specific D&D topic turned into an episode, add your suggestions into the comments. And as always, like, comment, share, and subscribe.